Is the new Walmart exclusive DC Multiverse Lieutenant Jim Gordon worth the manhunt, or is it all just a bad rap? Welcome to 5 Points of Articulation. Before we begin, a quick word. I just had some dental work done and I am in a bit of pain. Nothing to worry about, but if I'm not my normal, exuberant, bubbly self, that's why. Either way, the show must go on, so let's dig in. Starting with the packaging, we have our standard DC Multiverse window box. The gold label lets us know it's a store exclusive, in this case Walmart. And notice the Jim is only a lieutenant. That's because this figure comes from Batman Year 1. For those looking in store, here's the UPC. More on that during price. And on the back we've got some comic artwork, and wait a minute, this figure is all wrong. They actually gave him a face. Joking aside, for packaging, Jim Gordon gets a good 4 points. Moving on to presentation, and the lieutenant stands at 7 inches, or 17.5 centimeters, and is near complete reuse of the Page Puncher's Constantine. It's funny because pretty much as soon as this figure came out, people have been using it to make custom Commissioner Gordons. Seeing McFarlane themselves do it is kind of funny. Like most customizers, they patched up his tattered knee, and of course they gave him a new head. Admittedly, my feelings are a bit mixed. It's sculpted and painted well. I'm particularly impressed by all the attention they gave to his hair, and looking at it, I definitely do see Jim Gordon. I think my main issue are the glasses. Obviously, he wouldn't be Commissioner Gordon without them, but like other bespectacled characters, they're just really thick and cartoony. Though, really, who am I to talk? Still, comparing them to the DC Collectibles Jim Gordon, and you can see the difference that quality glasses makes. For me, the main issue are the gigantic hands. And it's not even just that they're big. Not to keep using the word cartoonish, but just look at these fingers. I do think it's cool that they painted on his wedding ring, but the skin tone between the face and the hands don't even match. Speaking of missing paint opportunities, they also forgot to paint the loop of his tie. Here's Constantine to see what I mean. It's obviously something I could easily do myself, but I shouldn't have to. Here I've switched his hands out with John Kent. They're not a perfect match either, but they're a lot more lifelike than the Constantine ones. If you were to swap out the hands and glasses and touch up the tie, I think you'd have a really good figure. As is, and for presentation, I'm giving Lieutenant Gordon an okay 3 points. Moving on to Poseability, and it's been a while since I've looked at Constantine, so it is worth refreshing my memory. From the top, in Gordon's head is on a dumbbell joint. He can look up at the bat signal this high. For contrast, here he is looking straight, and here he is looking down. The collar does not get in the way of tilt, and of course he can look side to side. Moving down, he can raise his arms 90 degrees, and gets complete rotation at the shoulder. There are rotator cuffs, but not a lot of forward and back. He does, however, have bicep swivel, double jointed elbow with a perfect bend, and wrist balls that do all the wrist ball things. Moving to the middle, and Jim has a diaphragm joint and a dumbbell waist. He also has this coat that gets in the way. As such, he can only arch back this far. Here's standing straight so you can see what I mean, but he does have a slight amount of hunch forward. He also gets side to side and twist. Below the belt, and Gordon has the standard McFarlane hips. He can kick this high, which is pretty impressive, this far back, and can split this wide. Traveling down the leg, and he has a very nice amount of twist in the hip, double jointed knee with a very deep bend, toe articulation, and ankle balls that can swivel, hinge, and like Jim Gordon from Lieutenant to Commissioner, pivot. For Poseability, I'm giving Gordon 4 points. Moving on to Playability, and not quite yet a Commissioner Gordon, comes with a trading card and a figure stand. Flipping it around, and it's actually more of a synopsis of Batman Year 1, which is pretty cool. Otherwise, and the only accessory he comes with is this revolver. Originally, I thought it was this one that came with Jonah Hex, but that's actually not the case. You can tell by the extra details. I would be surprised if this wasn't reused, but I don't know from where. I am much more surprised you can buy this in store for the usual 12 and up age recommendation rather than the 17 and up of figures like Jonah Hex. It gives me hope that the times are a-changing. The argument could be made that the gun itself is way too big, but then again, so are his hands. Of course, Playability is more than just accessories, it's also about how well your figure plays with others. Once again, and here's Jim with the Constantine figure upon which he was based, but for what has been the go-to Gordon in my collection, and here's the Greg Capullo version. Beyond that, mainly just focusing on Batman, and here's Detective Comics 1000, the Three Jokers version, and then for a blue and gray, here's Year 2 on that same body. For something more modern, and here's Rebirth. I haven't gotten it yet, but I think that the Year 1 Batman is built on this body as well. Otherwise, and here's blue and gray and black and gray versions of Hush, along with blue and gray and black and gray versions of Nightfall. For my favorite Nightfall, however, and here's the San Diego Comic-Con version. For something a bit brighter, and here's the Silver Age version, but for the Golden Age, and here's Gordon with Detective Comics 27. For something something more realistic, and here's Batman Noel. On that note, for a couple of video game versions, and here's Arkham Knight and Arkham City. For one last blue and gray though, and here's the Platinum Edition Spawn version. But for one final Batman, and it's only fitting to close with Commissioner Gordon himself as the Capeless Crusader. For the second most important character to compare with Commissioner Gordon, however, and here we have Batgirl. This one's the DC Direct version, and then for DC Collectibles, and here's New 52 and Greg Capullo. For a couple of purple options, and here's DC Essentials and DC Multiverse Gotham Knights, putting us squarely in DC Multiverse with Art of the Crime. Their hairs actually match pretty well here. And lastly, here we have 3 Jokers. For a relative scale comparison, and here's the Commish with Pizza Spidey and the Spectacular Spider-Man. And as always, here he is with Stealth Iron Man. He scales well with a lot of different Batmen, and I am grateful for the gun, but this figure in particular needs alternate hands. For playability, I'm giving Lieutenant Gordon 4 points. This leaves us with nothing left to discuss but the price. This figure is a Walmart exclusive, and therein lies the problem. Pre-order sold out instantly, but fewer and fewer Walmarts are carrying DC Multiverse figures in store. I had to try 6 different Walmarts just to find him. It honestly might just be cheaper and easier to get a third-party head and do a Constantine custom. I'm happy I have him, but this was way harder than it had to be. Based on availability and the lack of value in box, for price I'm giving Jim Gordon 3 points, averaging out to a final total of 3.6 out of 5. And hey, look what just arrived while I was filming. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it, and spoiler alert, he's not the only one I'm going to be looking at. For more videos, check out one of these, and until next time, play nice and have fun.